Hello, I'm Mantastic'c and Fantastic, and today I'm going to talk about the 8-player PvP mode that has just gone live in North America. So, this game mode is tremendously exciting because we now have interaction. Because for the most part, Puzzle & Dragons is a solo-oriented game. We do have multiplayer, but for the most part, I feel most people just self-co-op with themselves. Like, for instance, I'd be playing with my alternate account, Fantastic, and Mantastic, and doing wonderful things together. But that's not really interaction necessarily. So this is definitely a wonderful step in the right direction, I feel, overall. And this PvP-oriented event, or permanent multiplayer dungeon, is going to utilize a fixed team, or 3 specific fixed teams, actually. And that means you don't actually have to own any cards. You can just jump right in and enjoy yourself. So the playing field becomes completely even at this point in time, which is definitely a big bonus. With that being said, the way you score points and thus achieve a higher score is very similar to a ranking dungeon in the sense that, like, time remaining, how many combos you made, matching bonuses, along with maximum damage dealt, all play a role into how well you score, along with how well you did compared to other players. Now, with that being said, I want to take a look at how this dungeon works, as well as a little bit more detail for the 3 available teams, because each one plays differently. So, first things first, what you should do before you go any further is go into Others, Options, Dungeon, turn your skills off. The reason for that is because if your skills are off, you are able to go much faster because you're going to use active skills throughout this dungeon. I don't think they would be turned off by default because this is not a ranking dungeon, it's a multiplayer dungeon. So if you're going to be playing this, make sure you turn off your skills. After that, I just want to look at how the score breakdown looks. It's basically like a ranking dungeon. We have the average combos, we have the time remaining. It is possible to have 0 seconds remaining because there is a certain number of time you have to complete each dungeon. And if you fail to complete the dungeon, you'll have less wave clear bonuses, which are 10,000 per floor, so it's actually quite significant, and also the potential time. So for instance, in this run here, I went reasonably fast. I also got quite a few combos, but the point is I have all the floors done along with a reasonably strong amount of matching time remaining. Point is, if you went slower, you wouldn't have necessarily all 7 floors cleared along with the remaining time bonus. You can have maximum 40 million damage for up to 10,000 points. And if you score less than 40 million damage, you'll score less points accordingly. Matching bonuses will vary from team to team along with what is available. So, as promised, matching bonuses. Basically, the ideas of a matching bonus is if you match the respective pattern, whatever it may be from this various list, you will score bonus points, but it only happens if the cards on your team actually have this awakening. And you need to double check because a lot of the cards in this in this multiplayer dungeon do not have the same kit as they normally have in regular Puzzle & Dragons. For instance, Pandora has just lots of rows. Isis has a different active skill. Just check to see what your cards have, along with, I guess, waiting until I get to the next point. And then finally, the post-dungeon bonus points. So basically, there are 3 different categories, and if you are the highest in any one of these metrics, you will score 10,000 points per category. There's no prize for second place. There's etc., etc. So if you have the most number of combos in a single turn, you get 10,000 points. You have the highest damage output in a single turn, you get 10,000. And then if you have the most number of matching bonuses made, so for instance, 12 TPAs and 2 follow-up attacks equals 14. If that's higher than anyone else, you score 10,000 points once again. So, we do have modified actives and awakenings, like I mentioned, so make sure you check to see what the cards actually do because they are going to be different in this mode. So, for the Horus team, you need to match 4 colors for damage, 5 for maximum multiplier. If you're going to do lots of damage to try and pad your score, you want to make sure you have all 5 colors present. Your primary matching bonus will come from TPAs, and you can match TPAs in every single color but green. These will award you 600 points per TPA, which can add up. For the L bonus, you can only match green or light, and they award 800 points each. So those wood orbs, which are technically dead because they can't be used for TPA, can be matched at least in an L if it is convenient, of course. You are going to need to follow-up attack on floor 2 and 6. Follow-up attack does award points, but it doesn't award like any extra necessarily. Like in the Horus dungeon, they do give a bonus amount for TPAs and bonus for Ls. The regular 300 points for follow-up attack still exists. But you'll have to do so on floor 2 and 6. If you don't do so, you'll take longer, which means you'll score lower, and we want to score as high as possible. And with that in mind, your Dark Kali and your Rosiel do have the capacity to actually generate heart orbs, but just be mindful of the fact that Rosiel will actually take away light orbs, so make sure you either have a Kali afterwards But another thing that Rosio does is gives a 3 times attack buff. So if you're trying to pad your damage on whatever floor it may be, you want to use Rosio and maybe perhaps use Light Cali afterwards, and then maybe Horus if you really want to, and you can throw out a bigger amount of damage overall because you're much more likely to deal higher amounts of damage compared to anyone else, which in turn gives you 10,000 bonus points if you're the highest, along with potentially up to 10,000 points based on how much damage you actually dealt. You can send one jammer to other players, but I honestly feel like that is completely underwhelming. We do have Calis and board changers to get rid of them. I don't think it's going to be that needed overall. For Bastet teams, there are no Dark Orbs present, and you want to match as many combos as possible, but you want to use red, blue, green rows to maximize your score. And that's because each row gives 1,000 points, but remember, if you have the most matching bonuses made total, like the sheer number of them, you'll score another 10,000 points. So you want to match rows. You also want to super follow attack or a 3x3 heart box on floor 5 to overcome the super resolve. It saves you an entire turn. You definitely want to use Xiang Mei to do so if you don't have 9 heart orbs present. You definitely want to use orb changers, which is the Dino Rider and then the burst of the blue-green individual, and that'll help you overcome and one-shot the final floor because it helps you like cap your damage, such as the image I have here. I was able to cap my damage. Capping your damage means hitting 40 million or above to score that 10,000, and I'm quite confident on that run I received the bonus 10,000 for just hitting the hardest. So I like to save my orb changer and burst for that part because life becomes much easier. And then finally, Isis team is you need to match 3 colors, and if you use an active skill, you get a bonus attack multiplier, but of course match as many combos as possible alongside of it. I've tried this a few times, and I feel that like using Isis every single turn is in all honesty the best strategy because using Isis every single turn gives you 6 orbs of every single color, which will help you gain more damage output. It lets you always make a dark row because dark row is where you're going to get your style points from overall because you could do water TPAs, but I don't think that's necessary. It's not as efficient. And if you think about it, with a board of 6 of each color, that means you can match exactly 1 dark row plus 8 other combos. So every turn you're going to have 9 combos plus a row. I don't really feel anything else is going to overcome that discrepancy overall. Maybe even just ignoring rows perhaps and just going 10 combo every time because you'll have 5,000 more points overall. I guess that would become higher, but at the same time, if you do end up matching other patterns, you're probably not. It's hard to say. Like I feel like just using Isis in either rowing or just 10 comboing is going to be the best. You do get Skyfall chance being increased because when you think about it, if you clear all 30 orbs, 30 new orbs fall down, much more likely to Skyfall. I don't really think there's much better approach to not using Isis every turn because using Isis does technically consume some time. You don't get to think as much, but the bonus combos you get from clearing a whole board is probably going to offset it. You do get matching bonuses for matching a cross and an L, but I just found those weren't as efficient as just Isising and max comboing a given board. You are able to throw a cloud at other players, 2 jammers, which is completely countered by Isis. The time debuff is not bad because there's possibly enough movement time to solve without using your own Firo to rebuff your movement time, but maybe there won't be enough time. Hard to say, but sending clouds can definitely ruin players because if the clouds are stuck in an awkward place, it's going to be problematic. So, finally, what do BP and EP do? BP is battle points, and they're used to unlock various and lucrative achievements in the Achievements tab. The achievements require a stupendously large amount of them to actually unlock, which is fine because we don't want to unlock everything on day 1 and then never play this again. It's good that it's a very large number that you have to try and achieve in order to receive the various rewards. And EP are event points. I don't think they have any value at this exact moment because I can't seem to acquire any. There's no way to spend them as far as I can tell. I feel like that when an event comes, you can possibly use them. Again, I could be mistaken about that, but at this point, I don't think event points can be used. Finally, the icon shop lets you purchase a display icon that is visible to all other players. So for myself, I put the bubbly because I always like the bubbly's face. It's kind of like, oh. And you're able to get one completely for free, and this icon will be displayed to all other players. This is what you're going to be like your mascot. This is how you show off, so to speak. And the icons you can select are those that you've acquired at some point in game, or you've at least encountered in a dungeon. I may or may not be right about the encountering within a dungeon part, but definitely if you own them, you can use those icons. So if you have any like rare and lucrative like old stuff like say like Clash of Clans or Angry Birds or like weird silly collabs like Hello Kitty from back then, you could display those and just kind of flex on people saying, look, I got these old stuff. It's just little things over there. And you can buy additional icons for a stupendously large amount of coins. So Only do so if you don't want to like make any cards go beyond level 110 because they're like hundreds of millions of coins to unlock a new icon. So, in conclusion, 8-player is actually quite a fun game mode. Like, I played it a few times this morning and I enjoyed myself overall. And it does let you play against real humans with the auto match, and I feel like at least at this point in time, at least based off this morning, we only get 4 humans total. But when I do my Twitch stream later on this evening, if you're watching this on Thursday afternoon / evening, maybe I'm live then, I will be making just rooms, and hopefully we'll have a total of 8 human beings in a given room, which might make it more exciting. Regardless of all that, let me know what you think about 8-player PvP in the comments below. Do you think this was an exciting game mode? And if you've had a chance to try it out, what did you think about it? Regardless of all that, hopefully you'll have a truly fantastic day. I wish you all the best luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.